One thing that stops a lot of people from eating more plant-based meals is they don't want to miss out on the foods and flavors that they love. In this episode, we're going to focus on how to do some simple swaps that helps with that. And we're going to stop by my cousins to show this family of hunters how to make some plant-based meals.
The thing I've been looking for my whole life, guilt-free dessert.
So do you know what we made this out of? Tofu.
My brain hurts thinking on how this is being made.
But first, to my kitchen.
Just jumping in here quickly to say thank you for watching this little series of these Bell 5 compilation videos we've been putting up here on the channel. I hope you enjoy them. And in fact, this is a bit of a throwback to some videos we've been doing recently, because this is me going to my cousin's house and cooking for them, which, as you know from my Cooking with Carnivore series, I've been doing a lot more of that. This was actually the first time I did it. And if you're a fan of the channel, you know the idea has evolved a little bit aesthetically, because I have Ephraim shooting it now and not a really awesome professional crew. Not that Ephraim's awesome, he's super awesome, you know that. It's just a different flavor, but I hope you enjoy this one too. Before we get into this video with my family, I'd love to give a shout out to our international audience family from around the world. Melissa from Florida, Jill from Spain, Nan from New York City, Shar from Delaware, Leslie from Richmond, BC, and Gail from Wales. That is super fun to say, by the way, Gail from Wales. I mean, you knew that when you wrote that I was gonna have fun saying that. If you want to shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello below. Oh, I like hello below. I'm gonna start using that more often. Say hello below, let us know what you thought of the video and where in the world you're watching from. If you've been watching for a while now and haven't subscribed, get on it. We do awesome stuff like this all the time. And if you're a longtime viewer, show some love by picking up some swag at our swag store. Stuff like this and many other lovely items. Or we've got a tip jar that you can also contribute to down below. Whatever you got, it really helps keep the videos flowing around here. Back to the video.
I don't know why, but I always thought of quiche as a super fancy meal, probably because we only had it on special occasions. I'm gonna show you how to make a plant-based version, and we're gonna take it to the next level by making the crust potato. So what I've got here is a large sweet potato and a large potato, and I've just grated it and squeezed out the excess liquid. To that, we're gonna add a flax egg. So I already took a tablespoon of flaxseed and I mixed it with 2.5 tablespoons of water until it formed this nice little gel. We're gonna add 1/3 cup of whole wheat flour. If you wanna make this completely gluten-free, you can just use an all-purpose gluten-free 1-to-1. Now we're gonna put in a nice little spice mix. This is 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of onion powder. And now, we're just gonna mix it together. I've already lightly greased this tart pan. You could also just use a pie plate if you'd like, but I think this makes it look a little prettier when you take it out after. So we're just gonna put a really thick layer of this potato crust all around inside of here. Just kind of continue to move it around and fill in all the holes. Take the back of a spoon and then just really press it down so that it's nice and firm against the edges of it. And if you find any holes, like I got one right there, I'm just gonna plop a bit more of this mixture in. So potato takes longer to bake than the quiche, so we're gonna pre-bake this crust inside the oven. I preset it at 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake this for 25 to 30 minutes. So while that potato crust is cooking in the oven, we're gonna make the mixture for the quiche. So normally you would use egg for this, but what we're using here instead is a firm tofu for our base. And we are just gonna roughly crumble that up with our hands. So now we're gonna add in 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. This is gonna give it like a nice cheesy flavor. Now we're gonna add in our spice mixture. And what I've got here is a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, and I'm also adding calamanak, which is black salt. That's gonna give it a really nice eggy flavor. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. So I also pre-cooked about 2 cups of zucchini, an onion, and 2 cloves of garlic, and a cup of spinach. I sauteed that on the stove before, and so we're gonna add that to our mixture as well. We need a little bit of liquid, so we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of plant milk. Now, we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna add about 1/3 cup of chopped tomatoes and leave a little bit for the top. And then we're gonna add in about 1/4 cup of chopped green onions and parsley. We don't wanna chop this together in the food processor because we want those chunks. a vegetable inside of there. It's still a bit moist in there, but that's okay because it's gonna continue to cook. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that quiche mixture that we already made into the dish. It's a pretty thick mixture, so it's okay if it's sticking up a bit as long as it's even so that it bakes evenly. Save a few of the mix-ins for the top because that's what's gonna make it pretty. So I've already increased the temperature of the oven to 375 degrees, and now we're gonna bake this for about 35 minutes. When we take it out, we're gonna let it rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes before we cut into it. The way that potato blends in with that tofu eggy mixture is so satisfying. It's just a combination of everything. It's the herbs, it's the vegetables, it's the spices. That calamanac really gives it that extra eggy flavor as well. This is a perfect dish for dinner or for a special weekend brunch. Smash it into your face. I love it. So we're here today at my cousin Roxy's house, and we're gonna show you how to make some plant-based meals that are quick and easy for weeknight meals.
Important, thank you.
How often do you usually have to make dinner at night?
On piano lesson night, like 20 minutes.
Nice.
And other nights, like maybe 40.
Are the kids picky?
One is. One will eat anything, one will eat nothing.
I like a challenge. So we're gonna start off making one of my family's favorites. It's called taco soup. So this is a one-pot meal. Everything just goes into one, and Roxy, you're gonna do everything.
Great.
Okay,
I'm
so
excited.
we've already got a can of both pinto and I wanna say black beans. And then pretty much the rest of it can go in as long as we don't put the lentils in right away. So if you wanna dump in the onions.
Okay.
So this is a half of an onion chopped. And then all you need is one pepper. Hey, you're professional.
Well, cooked a few stews in my
Cooked a
day.
few stews in the day. A can of diced tomatoes.
Okay.
Half a cup of salsa in, and we got a cup of corn there.
Okay.
We'll use a can of tomato paste. We're gonna plop in, this is like 2 cups worth of broth. Start giving that a stir.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna add in the spices. What we want is a half a cup. Please don't put a half a cup of spices in. We want a half a teaspoon garlic powder, cumin, and chili powder. So this is where it's really important if you're doing it on the pressure cooker to only put your lentils on top, because if you mix these in to the pressure cooker, they're gonna sink to the bottom and they'll burn.
Do you want them to be wet?
Yeah, they can be a little bit, but just press them down so they're just on top of the surface, but they're a little damp.
Okay.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this into our pressure cooker just on like a manual setting for 15 minutes.
Okay.
If you're doing this on the stovetop, I would say just cook it until the lentils are mushy and the vegetables are softened.
Okay.
So you've never made waffles before,
Nope.
but we're also gonna be making these not only vegan, but we're gonna make them whole food, which means that we're not using any processed ingredients.
Fancy.
So let's start off with our dry. So I'm making a double batch here, but what we've got here is 1 3/4 cups of whole wheat flour. If you are gluten-free, you could use oat flour or like a gluten-free 1-to-1. And to that, we are gonna add a tablespoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
And mix.
So let's get our friend the blender out. Great. So we're making a peanut butter waffle because your brother requested peanut butter. We're gonna throw this milk in. This is 1 2/3 cups of plant milk. Use unsweetened. This is almond, but you can use any plant milk you want. So this is about 6 little dates. If you're using medjool dates, you use half the amount. These are already pretty soft,
Yeah.
but if your dates are harder, you just wanna pre-soak them in water or milk for a little bit before. 1 second, how much flaxseed do I need? I need a tablespoon. And then we want apple cider vinegar. So we want 1 teaspoon of this.
1.
And then last, but certainly not least, is the—
Peanut butter?
Right. There wouldn't be peanut butter waffles if we didn't have peanut butter. So for this batch, you'd normally have 1/3 cup. Ooh. Plop, plop. We're gonna blend this all together. Great. So what we're gonna do is pour that into our giant bowl. How about you pour the flour in and I'll whisk?
Okay.
I think I made a bad choice. Look at that. That's not what you want. You don't like that? I'm kidding. Don't. This is where we make mistakes and this is where we fix it. So we want to do that until it's just nicely combined and we don't see any dry bits. If you do it too much, it could make the batter dense. So we're gonna let this sit for a few minutes while the waffle iron heats up. And then we're gonna pour this into the waffle iron in about a half a scoop increments.
Okay.
And that's about as much as we need per waffle. And then just do it based on how you would normally make waffles. And while the waffles are cooking, I'm also gonna make a fruit jam to put on top. That's just basically gonna be cooked down berries with a little bit of maple syrup added inside. And we'll use that to put on top of the waffles when they're done. So we're gonna make a little pudding parfait dessert. And you've never had tofu, is this right?
I've never had tofu.
Okay, so what we're gonna use today as the base of our pudding is silken tofu. Also known as soft tofu. They're basically the same thing if you go to the grocery store.
Oh, cool.
So we're making a dessert out of it. So for you, you're a bit of an athlete, right?
Yes.
What do you play?
I play hockey.
Something like this, even though it's very desserty, it's a great post-game snack or pre-game snack. You were like, Mom, make me some of that tofu pudding.
The thing I've been looking for my whole life, guilt-free dessert.
What we did before we started, what did we do?
We cooked the berries.
So we took about 2 cups of frozen berries. You could use fresh berries too for this. So just cook them down for about 5 to 10 minutes until they start to turn into like a bit of a mush. And then we took like a potato masher
Yeah.
and just mashed them down.
This is really satisfying. Just picture that annoying referee who always tells me to do my job. Take that.
Whoa, you had a very specific point of aggression to get that out with.
That was this morning, it's fresh.
So next, we're gonna use a tablespoon of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. And lastly, we're gonna add 150 grams of silken tofu. Just use your hands.
Oh, that feels weird.
Just get in there. So now we're gonna blend it. Great. So now what we'll do is we'll pour this into this bowl.
Okay.
This, and then put it in the fridge and let it just chill for as long as we want, at least a half an hour, but up to an hour or more is better. So now we're doing the second layer of our pudding parfait. And what do you think we're making now?
Chocolate?
So this is 1/3 cup of cocoa powder.
There's no such thing as too much chocolate, in my humble opinion.
There isn't such a thing as too much chocolate, but the danger is if you have an out ratio to the sweetness you put into it, then it's really bitter,
That's true.
right? Which I'm already, no, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. You're making me feel better about myself? Okay, so now we're gonna add in a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, like a heaping teaspoon of vanilla, your favorite part.
Oh, yes.
What's it feel like?
I don't know, like brains? Okay, I've never actually felt brains, but I don't know what this tastes.
You don't even know what brains feels like. Can we get a brain so Kate can compare this?
Ew!
Use the dry hand and just give me like a nice pinch of salt inside there. Now we're just gonna blend this up. Literally just enough to get that going. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour this into the bowl, put some more plastic wrap on, leave it in the fridge for the same time as our other version, our berry version. And then when we're ready, what we're gonna do is we're gonna layer these. We're gonna put the chocolate layer on the bottom, then we're gonna put the berry layer on top, and then we're gonna top it with whatever you want. Today, we're gonna add some of my homemade granola and some fresh raspberries.
Oh, that sounds good.
So we have our spread here that everyone helped make. How it works is you can kind of put whatever you want. There's avocado slices here. I like to like crumble up and put some chips inside if you want to do that.
I want to put chips in that.
If you're an avocado lover.
Yes, me too. I'm
right.
excited about this.
Tastes like chili.
Was it? It was good.
You like?
Yeah.
The lentils came out.
What's nice about the lentils is they kind of turn into a bit of a mush, red lentils. And so it really just thickens it.
Well, if you're, okay, so like we would maybe sometimes put sour cream on.
Sour
The
cream?
non-vegan people. Is there like an alternative?
Yeah. So I would blend like a silken or a soft tofu up with like lemon juice.
Okay.
And even that's enough to make it like a sour cream.
Can't stop eating.
You get a nice little healthy portion of sauce in there.
Oh, yeah.
So Travis, I want to start with you because I know that you like a limited palette of foods. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
But one of your favorite foods is?
Waffles.
That's good.
That's delicious.
Oh!
It's delicious.
Buddy. but it has the flavor.
I can't even taste it.
So it needs more peanut butter.
Yeah, I think I agree with your maybe more peanut butter.
I think so too. I think you could use a little more peanut butter. So maybe just increase it to like a half a cup when you make it.
I think I
But
can
delicious.
taste it though. I think
Very
It's
delicious.
just a little too subtle.
Do you want some? Can you catch one in your mouth?
Wait, I'm scared. Yeah.
Very sour.
Instantly regrets it. And now for our little dessert. You really want to
Should
go?
I try and get
I'm gonna
everything
go like
in
all the way
line?
down. Kate's favorite.
Nice. Cocoa
good.
flavor.
I like that we actually made the cocoa darker and didn't sweeten it because the berries are really sweet.
It's ultra chocolatey.
Right?
Yeah, it's good.
It's very, very rich. So do you know what we made this out of, Travis?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. We used cocoa butter, but we used tofu.
My brain hurts thinking on how this is being made.
And Mom, Jeremy said this is a good post-game hockey dessert. So, hint, hint.
Oh, good. I look forward to you making it for yourself.
Right?
What if you're just driving the minivan to the rink?
That requires a lot of energy. Because it is mostly tofu, a little bit of maple syrup, it is healthy enough that you could use this as a breakfast as well.
I would eat this for breakfast.
I would too.
Not bad for a plant-based meal.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I know. Look at us, meat eaters eating plants. We did it. Yeah.
The beauty of this, though, is like, if a couple times a week you like go with a more plant-based option, you round it out, that's good too. And that's all I wanted to do was come over here and show you some more options.
I like options.
Yeah, and these were all quick things that you can make like pretty much with what you got on hand in a moment's notice.
Within like an hour or 20 minutes.
Yep. Eating plants. Like nobody's business.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Jeremy.
Thanks for joining me while I cooked for my cousins. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so down below. Also, let us know what you thought of this video, and YouTube thinks you want to watch this video next. It's really up to you. Nobody can force you to click on this link, but you're a little bit curious, right? You're sitting there going, oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I have a little bit of time before I have to do whatever I have to do next. I'm going to give it a shot. Do it. Do it.